he hit on this. So you can do it, but you can't do it, or you can do it. You can, I mean, maybe one of you can, right?
Yeah.
Get your retargeting down, get your callbacks down, get your follow-up callbacks down, layer it with AI. I'm telling you, man, that stuff, my
Yeah.
mind's been blown yet again. My mind's getting blown like every week on AI and how close it's becoming. Welcome to the Small Business Safari, where I help guide you to avoid those traps, pitfalls, and dangers that lurk when navigating the wild world of small business ownership. I'll share those gold nuggets of information and invite guests to help accelerate your ascent to that mountaintop of success. It's a jungle out there, and I want to help you traverse through the levels of owning your own business that can get you bogged down and distract you from hitting your own personal and professional goals. So strap in, adventure team, and let's take a ride through the safari and get you to the mountaintop. All right, Alan, it is on. Believe it or not, it just muted on you because I've got AI taking notes. That's why the recording
The
started.
bots are taking over the world, Chris. I don't like it.
Right. So I botted my way out to Vegas this weekend, baby.
Yes, you did. You had a big weekend, and
I
I
did.
am impressed that you even bothered to text me.
I thank you. I did.
Well, it was a response to my text, but
But I made it.
yeah.
And I made it. When I mean I made it, I made it. My Lions lost, but I'll take the Bills win. And I came back with almost the same as I had before. When I came out back, so but I didn't lose
Did
my
you
ass.
did you break even?
I did.
Really?
I
That's a
did.
win in Vegas.
Oh hell yeah, dude! That was
Because you guys were going big. You could just see in the
oh
photos.
yeah, I was yeah. I had I didn't have like these big dogs had. At one point, one of them had 5 grand in just bets on games, and then during the game and in between the games, they love the craps. They put another three out there and play. I'm like, oh my god. And so the little dog over here just, I think I can, I think I can, I think I can.
Well,
And I
maybe
got there.
maybe our guest will help you become a big dog.
That's right. And that's what, so I'm excited that we've got Phil Risher who reached out to me because he had talked with Dave Mormon. We've been doing this now for a little over 3.5 years. Dave was one of our very first guests because I saw Dave out there and I really liked what he was doing. And I think we probably ought to have Dave come back on because I know we're a lot better at what we do
Now that we
now.
know what we're doing.
Yeah, but he is such a great dude and a great guy. And I've stayed. I mean, I keep up with him on social, and every once in a while we ping each other. He's got this. He's got a pressure washing business and does pressure washing coaching. I know I've referred him to at least 3 people. Um,
Yeah.
Now, whether or not they had the balls to use it, I don't know. But he's a good conversation, man. So it's at least talking to us. So Dave Mormon hooked us up. Phil says, hey, I think I'd be cool to come on your website or come on your podcast. And I was like, ah, man, I get 5 of these a day. I mean, seriously, right now
Because you're kind of a big deal.
yeah, well, our podcast, we're in the top 5%. We're doing all right, man. People kind of, I think we're a big deal. So, uh, so I said, well, let's see. And then he sends me his bio. And I'm like, oh, this is a slam dunk. And I'm like,
You're
we have
making
got
way
to,
too much out of
Wow.
we
this.
have got to do this. One of the things Alan and I have talked about on this podcast is our backgrounds have really formed a lot about who we are and what we do. And one of the things that Alan has brought up a lot of times is his enterprise training and just the enterprise culture and how good it was for him is that he actually felt entrepreneurial while he was there at the green, what do you guys call it? The green, I don't know, the green.
I don't know, the big green gorilla at one point,
Yeah.
but
And so Phil says, I worked at Enterprise too. I'm like, all right.
see, he gets so excited about it, Phil. I mean, it's just not that big of a deal. I mean, we know what it meant, but
Yeah. Getting our ties sucked up in vacuums as we clean cars.
oh
No
my
big
God,
deal.
yeah,
No
cleaning
big
a
deal.
car in a suit with a tie right there.
Exactly. Exactly.
So Phil, so the best story, Alan, that I remember Alan telling me was it bullet holes in the car and the gun in the car?
Well, the county had impounded the car that the sheriff, the guy running for sheriff for DeKalb County, was gunned down in by his rival. That was one of them.
That was
Yeah.
pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean that's pretty legendary. Because
Yeah.
I told somebody that story. They fact checked me. I said, "Do you know that?" I mean, I moved to Atlanta after this happened, but one sheriff gunned down the other sheriff, and they're like, "What kind of podunk town was this?" I'm like, "No, it was right next to downtown Atlanta. Yeah, look it up."
You know who else was one of my customers? I don't know if I ever told you this. That prick who flew the plane into the Trade Center. He actually rented a car before he did that around him. He was casing Atlanta.
That's
We've
right.
got the CDC and all that.
Right. And he didn't he take flight lessons here
Yeah,
too?
yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Wow,
But you
that's
can't
crazy.
profile, Alan. You can now in our new administration.
That's a topic for another day.
And that's a different podcast. Let's go to True Crimes podcast.
That's
So,
right.
Phil, what was the craziest thing that ever happened to you at Enterprise except getting your tie sucked up, which is nothing. That was a big
Yeah, I would say I had two. So one of my branches, we actually ran the undercover division for a large county, like undercover cops, about 120 cars out on rent for them, and they were all undercover. So we would have
Good Lord.
guns in cars, drugs in cars that they would leave when they would accidentally, drop their stuff off. They also would, they would get seen by the people they're trying to trace, and they need to come in and swap their cars. That was pretty crazy. At that same branch, I actually had my branch literally broken into and the safe broken into, and they stole my truck, a brand new Dodge Ram 2500, whatever, drove it to a 7-Eleven, hooked up the ATM, dragged it out, and then went on a wild police chase with police in one of my cars. So, yeah, those are some of the crazy ones. More crazy ones that are out there, but that was probably the two big ones.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that you can use a rental car for.
Yeah, hotboxing.
Like,
Hotboxing was a really popular one. You get the car, you do whatever. It's ridiculous.
Oh my God,
it
I
is
love it.
amazing how often we pulled guns and drugs out of the cars.
Yeah,
It'd be like, hey, just can you not remember that you have guns and drugs in the car before you return it? I mean, that's kind of always blew my mind.
yeah.
Like,
Hmm.
what do I need to get out of the car before I
Yeah.
turn it back
Oh,
in?
oh,
Were you
here's
not a
another
Piles
one.
teenager?
of
Were you
cash.
not a teenager trying to hide shit from your
Yeah,
parents at one point in your life? I mean, seriously, can't you clean your
Yeah.
car? See
Here,
things you
here,
learn at Enterprise.
here's another one. We did these trunk to trunks when you go out and inspect the car when someone drops the car back off to you to make sure there's no damage.
right.
One of the things that we would look at is like in the glove compartment, you open it up, and in there was like a bunch of sex toys and stuff. And it's like a woman, I have to go back in there and I'm like, did you leave something in the car? And she's like, oh, yeah. I'm like, how does this even happen? How does this end up in your rental car? And you leave it in there. It's
So,
ridiculous.
Chris, I know you take customer service calls from people who aren't very happy. So, how would you answer the call where somebody calls up and says, "My toddler reached under the seat of your rental car and pulled out a Glock"?
Okay, so that does trump the one I got because I do rent out my place in the mountains. Um, so so obviously first thing you say, no shit, is I apologize completely. This is unacceptable. Um, then it's like, is it loaded?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I mean, God, I mean, seriously.
Yeah, stuff like that. That was terrible. So, what's ever happened in your cabin? Have you ever had any
Yeah, so
ritual sacrifices or anything like that?
yes, well, yeah, or a chipmunk got in and died underneath the loft upstairs where the kid was. And honestly, it
Sorry.
was almost at the level of the Glock. That's the way she reacted. The mom was telling me that her son could have been bitten, could
Oh man.
contract rabies from this. This is unacceptable. How do you let this happen in your cabin? I thought you guys had a cleaning protocol. I mean, just giving it to me. I'm like, damn, baby, you were in the middle of the woods. I mean, this is
That's
what.
the whole reason why you rent a cabin.
Yeah,
Get
and
close to
and
nature.
and she is just like letting me have it. I'm like, okay, I mean, at some point, I just finally went, "Would you get the chipmunk out?" Okay, good. I mean, seriously, at that point, if you here's how she should have handled this though, and this is a great customer point. If she just would have said, "Hey, I know I'm in the mountains. I just want to let you know
Hmm.
we had a chipmunk upstairs. We took care of it though." I'm like, I would have said, "I so apologize. Can I at least give you an extra night? Can I comp you something?" But she was such a bee about it that I was like, what do you
That
want?
kind of goes back to that customer service pod that we dropped a couple
Yeah.
of weeks ago.
Yeah,
You
when
know,
you went to Uni and
yeah,
you hit them with great customer service to them, they want to help you.
right.
Well, this lady hits you up with that, and you're like, I mean, yeah,
I'm going to give you the least I
I
possibly
guess I
can.
should have said, Phil. Well, at least it wasn't a Glock, right? Hey, look at me. All right. So,
Feels like, where's this going?
why did I come on this podcast? I don't know what the hell I'm going to talk
How
about.
on
I
earth
might
are these
laugh.
guys
All right.
doing reasonably
The
well?
the reason I'm excited to have you two enterprise guys on me. So, Phil, in your background, did you feel like it helped set you up for success as you moved on to the entrepreneurial world? Did you feel like it was a good basis? What do you think?
Nowadays, like in my company today, we use the same things that I use at enterprise to track performance because we got paid off the bottom line of our branches. So it was basically running your own branch and you just, get profit distributions. So the same reports that we use now, we actually use them for our clients. And my trajectory after enterprise, I went and worked at a home service business that was doing $3 million. And when I went there, I'm like, well, how do you track your year over year jobs? How do you track your year over year this service versus that service? And there's nothing in there. So I'm like, okay, we need to start tracking this stuff so then we can benchmark performance and help us grow. So that in and of itself helped me tremendously. The other thing when it comes to enterprises, since I was running a local business that was a couple $1 million, I learned how to manage 15 people when I'm 25 years old, a $2 million business, whatever. So definitely like that stuff tremendously set me up. And I wouldn't be where I'm at now if I didn't have that experience for sure.
Should we let people know where he's at now?
So let's get into that. Well, so Phil, where are you at now?
Yeah. So, well, I own a company called Phlash Consulting. We work with home service businesses to help them increase their sales, keep their schedules full. When I was in the trades, a lot of times there's these digital marketing frou-frou people that talk about likes and impressions, and they never actually use your CRM to grow. And so when I started the company, I actually, at that home service business, we were crushing it. I crushed it for him for the first year, and he referred all of his friends and was like, hey, you need to talk with this guy. And basically was like, you need to go help these people, and I'll be your first client. So he kind of pushed me out there, and then I started building out this playbook. I know it's crazy.
So the guy you went to work for said, "Hey, get the hell out of here." Was that what I
Yeah,
heard?
yeah, this is the crazy part. This is my enterprise. This is really my enterprise. At enterprise, this is like we're just going hard. Like we're trying to book deals, sell, close stuff, no excuses. Like I was a high performer. When I went to work in home service, I was pushing the meter. I was like, why can't we book more jobs? Why can't we run more routes? Why are we doing this? And the first year he went from 3 million to 4 million in revenue. And he's like, this guy needs to chill. Like he's doing way too much and he's pushing too hard. So he's like, I need to get this guy out of here and like go work with other businesses and just do the other stuff for me. So yeah, he basically fired me because I
A
was crushing
disruptor.
I love it. All right, so what was it? What
it.
was the home service business?
It was an air duct cleaning company.
Air duct cleaning. Oh my God, $4 million in air duct cleaning?
And
Yeah.
they weren't even
Solid,
tracking
bro.
their KPIs.
How
So
about
get
that?
so
Or
get
you
this.
should clean some air ducts, Chris.
Get
Shit, I
this.
know.
The guy used to work in HVAC in the 90s, and everyone used to ask him about duct cleaning. It was this new indoor air quality push. So in 1995, he started a duct cleaning company, and the way that he got business was partnering with HVAC contractors all over the DC metro area. So when I started working there in 2018, he had 36 Google reviews. He was nowhere to be found.
Bro,
And he was doing
God.
$3 million just from all these HVAC contractors referring him.
So he didn't think about marketing, advertising. So let's talk about
Isn't that
that.
frustrating though? I mean, let's just take a second. It's like you bust your ass. And I mean, and this guy just, doesn't care about Google reviews. He's not tracking anything. He's 3 million in business.
Yeah. So you know
I
where we're
mean,
at right now. Just so you guys all know, I am at the cusp of 1,000. We're
1,000 reviews.
1,000 Google reviews. And what I've had to build from was I was on a thing called Kudzu, which is here in Atlanta. Google came in, took out my 300 reviews because Kudzu went out of business.
Ugh.
Here comes Google, and I did a really crappy job of asking for reviews and getting my guys to get reviews because today, what do people do when they go figure out if they want to work with a home service company? Phil,
Yeah. Yeah, they read reviews, of course.
thank you. So this guy goes out there, and you know what? I have to give him kudos because he networked with the HVAC guys. He knew where his bread was buttered, but he was doing a lot. That's personal time and networking, man. That's
Oh
good old
yeah.
boy shit too. So you grew him from 3 to 4. What were some of the things you just enacted? What were some of the things you guys did?
Yeah, so with those HVAC partnerships, well, first he was running 15 routes a day, 3 jobs a day. So he had a ton of work. So the first thing was like, let's come up with a process to get Google reviews with all these jobs. So what we did was we set up a QR code, a little thing that then all the customers could scan, and then each technician would get $10 for every review that they got. So the first thing was like get a bunch of reviews so now we can get residential clients. The real unlock here was that all of the HVAC contractors that were referring he was giving them a cut for the referral. So he's basically saying like you can do duct cleaning without doing duct cleaning and just refer me and I'll be your duct cleaning partner.
So he
So
was paying for that. Okay, so he did have a
yeah.
marketing cost, whether he thought about it or not. Okay,
Exactly. So
I
every
like this.
job that he was doing, he was giving them like $100 off of a $500 job. He was giving the HVAC contractors. So I'm like, well, why don't we just take all these jobs that we're doing, get reviews, turn them into just COD residential type customers, and then not have to pay this $100, but do it all organically. And that shift right there was an unlock because that additional $1 million was another $600,000 in profit because it was, you didn't have to pay all this money anymore. It was basically unlocking this stuff. That was just one thing. There's a bunch of other things like online scheduling, estimate calculators, automations following up on all his invoices that they weren't collecting on.
Oh, that's always a fun one. So obviously you took this guy and it's funny. He says, you know what, Phil, you got to go.
Yeah.
You're
I can't handle this
I can't,
success,
I can't handle
this
this.
intensity.
You are
I
burning
just
way
got this
too bright,
country
brother.
business
I
that
have
makes
got to get
$3
out.
million.
And so Phil has mentioned he's from Maryland, so I'm assuming this guy had a boat and he wanted to get out on a lake.
Get some crabs.
Yeah, he was in Virginia, so I'm like in the DMV, DC metro area, but yeah, he had like a mountain house and stuff like that. Really good dude. The his thing is like he was so good at sales. Like he was this, he's going out getting all his HVAC contractors. He wasn't an operator. He wasn't making sure his stuff was tight. So his numbers were all over the place. He just needed someone to come in and put some structure in place, which is what we helped with.
Hey, Phil, so this will go back to enterprise. You remember when we used to do the ESQI, the
Yeah,
surveys, and if you weren't completely satisfied, somewhat satisfied was a no. It counted as a
that's right.
negative score.
That's
And it
right.
had everything to do with your promotion and all that stuff. And in Google review, but we tried very hard to make sure that all the branches did that pure. We wanted to get actual feedback, not just pump
Sure.
ourselves up with a score.
Yeah.
Google reviews, it's, you're starting to see a lot of, hey, if you can't give us a 5-star review, tell us. I mean, so are you manipulating that, or do you have a process to try to get 5-star reviews, or do you appreciate just the let's see where we're at? We would just want reviews.
Yeah, so they would call that review gating, which is basically, don't leave us a review, it's not a 5 star. So very funny thing at Enterprise, what we talked about a lot is like if the customer doesn't know your name, then they're most likely not going to give you a review. But if they remember your name, they're more likely to leave you a review, Chris or Phil, because then they're like, hey, Phil did such a great job. I'm leaving him a review, not Enterprise or whatever the company is. So what we did first was I turned on automations, which was, after the job, they get a text message, blah, blah, blah. That was okay. Then what we did was we turned off the automations and we created the QR code with the postcard. And we told all the technicians, ask for a review and make sure that they know your name and they leave you a review specifically. And then what we did, this was really cool. Where they go to clock in, we created these little like mini cards for each tech that was like a little truck, and we put their name on it. And then each review that they got, they moved to the next step. And once they got to 100 points, they got a $100 gift card. So 10 points. And once they hit that 100, they would get a little like star, like football, you put little stickers on your helmet and stuff. They would get a star on their truck and they'd start back from the beginning. So everyone would see their trucks moving and getting all these stars on there. And it just created this snowball. So like the first year they went from 36 to 1,000 reviews. Now they're at like 4,500 or 5,000 and they still run that same playbook to this day.
Just a simple competition. It's so funny
Yeah.
how that works.
Yeah. The big unlock for me, I was in there for a tech meeting and one of the guys come in, doesn't speak any English. I see him taking a picture of it and I'm like, hey, you just like keeping track of my stats here or what's going on? He's like, no, I'm sending it to my wife. She's going to be really proud of me because I got all these
Nice.
stars. I'm like, okay, we got it. We got it.
I love it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm typing notes because I've got to start doing that with the AI and pick off the things I like. You did something that I think is so key. People ask me, and again, we get called. I'm getting ready to go out to Dallas, and I'm going to go meet with another handyman who listens to the podcast while I'm out there.
Why are you having him come to you?
Well, because
Because
I'm going out there to move Austin into Waco and then go
oh,
back to
that's
Dallas.
right.
So Chris is not going to Austin. He's moving his son Austin to Waco, then going back to Dallas,
I'm very
but
confused.
not
I'm
going
gonna
to
have another
Austin.
sip of bourbon.
I did not know that my son Austin would actually end up in the same the damn Texas area. And you think, okay, and
The
then
damn Texas area. You just offended like one of our greatest states.
I know. Well, I'm going down there, so come find me. I'd love to duke it out with you. I'm gonna get my cowboy hats and everything. Anyway, back to this.
Keep digging.
Here's what people ask me. What's the best thing you found to get reviews? I said, having my guys ask for it right in front of the person.
Exactly.
Really? Like, yeah. No. It's not like, no, they're not, they can't do that. I'm like, oh, I know they can't. But when you tell them to do it, and then all you have to do is give them one button on your CRM to say, send a text message with the Google link, and the customer gets it, and you just stare at them while they do it.
That's right.
Then they do it. And that pause was not your phone. That was not you driving down there. That was Chris pausing to tell everybody, you just sit there and stare at them when you send it to them.
Yeah.
But
Well,
that's it, though, because they know your name, Phil. You hit that.
that's right. What we coached them was kind of the enterprise model, which was, hey, so my name's Phil. How did we do today? How was the service that you received from me? Oh, it was great. Is there anything I could do better next time or any feedback from me? No, all good here. Cool. Well, I have two things for you. First, do you mind leaving me a review here? Lets my boss know I'm doing a great job. Here you go. Pause. Then,
Pause and stare at them.
yeah, scan the QR code. And then
So
I
that'd be
also,
fun to watch us on YouTube because Phil and I
yeah,
are staring at each other and
yeah.
Alan's going, this is awkward.
Yeah. And then the second part is here's your, invoice or how you're going to pay, whatever. But you just make it a part of that ending script. And my name's Phil. How was the service? Blah, blah, blah. It just ties it all together. It's perfect.
Yeah, our line is, and this has been dynamite when they use it. Now, they all don't use my line, but my line has worked. When I walked up as the owner, I'm like, I hope you liked what our guys did today. I said, I'll tell you what, it would mean the world to him if you went out there and gave him a good review. But if he didn't earn 5 stars, you let us know, and I'm here to help him, and I'll do whatever it takes.
Review gate, right, Phil? He just managed it.
I did, baby.
Little
That's what I
review
do.
gate.
So, and so to be fair, everybody needs to know this. I do have a review gate too. So, if we think the service really didn't go the well, they think that they pulled a Glock when it really was just a chipmunk underneath their thing. I send them a link to my website where they can go through there and I can suppress all my four and less, but I can respond to them. So they feel like they got their voice heard because that's the thing that's awesome about these keyboard
Wait a minute.
warriors.
You don't let like threes show up
No.
So,
Not on my
so
website. Now
on
on
your
Google, I can't control that.
right.
And then Google, let me tell you guys everything. You can't control shit when it comes to Google.
No.
You
yeah,
can. And if you ever get one taken away that you fought for, guys, you got a gold star and you can need to send me an email, Chris at the Trusted Toolbox, and let me know. I said, because I've had legit reviews taken down.
yeah.
It's bad. So, all right,
I,
Phil, you were jumping in. What was that?
You can set up an automation so it will send an email and you'll have like the stars and then you'll say click on the star. If it's 5 star, when you click on that star, it goes to your Google Business Profile. If they click on 4, then it goes to your website where they can fill out a form. So that way you're kind of like segmenting them out, but based
That,
on the stars that they
that's what
click.
we
and if
do.
it's a two, it goes to you.
No, actually,
Goes to the form.
four and lower goes to all of us.
Hmm.
Yeah, no, four and lower we react at. Fine.
Yep.
And how about this one? Because I never get 5 stars. Uh, okay, thank you. But how about this? You're a little off. One, there are 2, 3, and 4 in there. You could have picked a different one.
Yeah.
Is it
Yeah.
really? Was it literally
It's
a one?
tough. I wish we'd go to 10 because I don't review anymore. Because to me, like when you go to a restaurant, I mean, I'm only going to give 5 stars if I had my world rock. 4 stars is good to me. But now in Google World, 4 is not that good.
No, I agree with you. I thought I would be a hard grader too. I thought I would be the Russian grader, maybe the German judge.
Yeah.
In the Olympics. But you
You just
realize
dated yourself hard, but I love that reference.
that was so big. But you're right. It's hard because, man, we're out there, and this is how we make our living. And you want to get behind your keyboard, and instead of engaging with me and having a conversation, you want to just go out there and slay me and not give me a chance to fix it. Again, in home services, Phil, you talked about duct cleaning. I know you work with a lot of other home services. We'll get to that.
Yeah.
But in my world, like drywall, I can't tell you how many times people just get absolutely just set off on drywall. You're
Nothing
like,
pisses me off more than drywall. Is that
right.
right?
Yeah.
Really?
And you're like, this is so easy. No, I can fix this. I mean, they make it sound like I
Your
could.
world is weird.
You know what? My world is weird. You want to buy it?
Yeah.
It's up for sale.
Not yet, baby.
No. All right. All
I'm
right.
gonna pour a little more
So
bourbon.
back to Phil.
Okay, back to
Can we, please?
Hey, Phil, your bio, I'm not gonna say you're bragging, but it's pretty confident. Like, I'm gonna help you just really increase the multiples on your business so you can exit and be a big daddy like Chris wants to be. And you focus on the home services space. Are you that confident because so many people in the home services space don't use KPIs and don't do these things? Or, runs a very sophisticated business. Can you actually take a business like his with that confidence and know that you can move the needle?
Yeah, so there's like 3 pillars that we look at. There's visibility. So reviews is one part of it where people are going to find you, whether it's SEO, running ads, whatever. They need to know about you and find you. That's the one pillar. The second one is conversions. And most companies don't have a lead problem, they have a lead management problem. So
Ah,
like like with
We, sorry, we just talked about that before we got on the
okay.
air with you.
Okay. So, like the duck cleaning company, they're getting all these leads. The CSRs, who knows if they're calling them, they're not answering, but what's the process look like for nurturing the leads? That's the second problem is conversions. Most of the times that's the issue, and they need automations inside of their CRM to help with that.
Are you
And then
saying take the human people part of it out?
I'm saying layer AI and automation on top of the humans that they can pick up. Like if, for example, let's say you get a lead that comes in and you call them and they don't answer. What happens? Nine times out of 10, nothing.
Right.
But there needs to be an email text message sequence that starts to happen that when they respond to that, then the CSR picks it up and can communicate back and forth with the client. And then the last pillar is retargeting. So all your prospects and customers that come through your database, maybe you close 50 to 60% of them. The other 40% you don't close. They all need to go into an email, newsletter, text message marketing campaign to cross-sell services to bring them back into your funnel. The reason that I'm so confident is because most people, from a marketing perspective, don't do conversion rate optimization or automations. They don't do retargeting to their past customers, and they barely do visibility, and they don't even know if it's working because they don't use their CRM halfway.
Do you have what it takes to start your own business? Are you tired of the 9 to 5 corporate job and ready to make that leap into entrepreneurship? You need to check out From the Zoo to the Wild, the book by successful entrepreneur Chris Lalomia. This book is a unique perspective on the journey into the wild world of home services and delivering excellence in service while working in customers' homes. Lalomia shares his path to success in this industry, including proven customer relationship strategies, award-winning customer experience processes, and a unique approach to training a team of service technicians to perform at the highest levels. Whether you're a small business trying to scale or a franchise operation, From the Zoo to the Wild will give you the mindset, habits, leadership style, and customer-oriented processes to succeed as a small business owner in the world of home services. So if you're ready to take control of your future, get a copy of From the Zoo to the Wild today, available on Amazon.
So you help implement all these processes, but do you actually teach people how to convert?
No. So my company is a done for you system where we have the playbooks and processes that are done. If they want the how, they can go to our YouTube channel and we give it away for free.
I can promise you what he's just talking about. This is the hard. As a business owner, we have a lot of shit going on, right?
Exactly.
And so now I'm going to tie it into what I just said. I can teach you to replace your own toilet, Alan, and that way you can flush your own shit. Or after you watch my YouTube channel, you'll let us come change your toilet out. So that's what Phil's saying. It's like, look,
Exactly.
come on, you want to do it yourself? Good. Here you go. I'm going to give it
Yeah.
all to you. Then you got Marcus Sheridan up there. They ask you answer. I'm going to give you all the answers. Now, do you have the time to do all that? Because I'm writing down those three things. And retargeting is a great example. Or, hey, ladies, did you call them back? Yeah. Did they answer? No, I just left a message.
By the way, I liked it a lot better when you wrote on a legal pad.
I'm
Because
getting
when you get on your phone, I don't know if you're like placing
text.
a bet or
No, I'm not placing. Like, you can't place a bet here in Georgia, by the way, which is the only reason I'm still
or
actually.
texting somebody out of state to place a bet, or if you're dealing with a customer service issue. I just feel like you're just
No, I'm
distracted.
taking my. I'm
But when you
taking
have
notes,
a
Phil. I'm
legal
taking
pad
notes.
and a pen, see, this is why I hate AI. But if you have a legal pad and a pen, then I know you're engaged because you're excited. You're taking notes. Now I don't know what you're doing.
That reminds me of my first boss. I used to come in way back in the day. This is way before the internet, people, and we'd have the newspaper
In the
and
dark times.
the dark times. And I was a engineer, and we did drafting, but I had just moved to a CAD station. But I would read the newspaper, and he grabbed me and pulled me inside and said, "Chris, look." He goes, I know you're one of the smartest guys here. He goes, "You're a master's in engineering. You're really smart." He said, "But reading the paper at your cube is just not a good look." And I learned right there. I'm like, shit, he's right. So I never read the paper at my cube ever again,
Hmm.
and couldn't go to the internet. But I found other ways. But on my computer, I had solitaire. So fuck you. I didn't learn a damn thing, but I played some
I was
solitaire,
wondering
baby.
where that story was going.
So you're right. So here, no, I'm on my
Phil
phone.
normally he just gives me the finger, but today he just absolutely said it.
I did too because
Wow.
that one set me off. That reminds me of that.
And there he is. He's on his phone again.
But I'm tired.
It's
Break
like,
this shit down.
oh, got a parlay with it.
No parlays. Although I did win a parlay this weekend.
Did you really?
Oh my God, it was a crazy parlay too.
That must have been fun.
It was
Because
cool.
you just gotta keep building and
I
building and building.
got 3 of them.
Wow.
I know. You'd think I made millions of dollars. I made like $81.42 or whatever.
But you celebrated like it was 1999.
You should have seen me. You know what? You've never seen a guy go crazy on a $20 bet than Chris. I can promise you that.
I can see it.
I know it. And so, I mean, if it's $20 or $2,000, I'm in. But that's the business owner mentality. Let's get back to Phil, shall we?
I've been with Phil the whole time.
I
was just scolding you for just
but I'm
not
writing,
paying attention.
But I'm writing his shit down because he hit on this. So you can do it, but you can't do it, or you can do it. You can. I mean, maybe you can, right?
Yeah.
Get your retargeting down. Get your callbacks down. Get your follow-up callbacks down. Layer it with AI. I'm telling you, man, that stuff. My mind's been blown yet again. My mind's getting blown like every week on AI and how close it's becoming. Tommy Mello, who one of your books up there, he and I were talking 2 years ago. No, a year and a half ago. No, less than a year ago. He said 2 years from now, no human will answer the phone in home services. And I said, I don't know. I didn't say bullshit. I just said, I don't know, man. That seems like a big stretch, bro. I said, because my business is just so different. He said, well, I can't speak to your business, but I know garage doors. He goes, nobody. I'm not going to have a call center. AI is going to answer first. I'm like, no. So I was at a presentation last Thursday by Victor Antonio. Guy's an amazing salesperson. Go look him up, victorantonio.com. You want to learn about sales? You go there and you just go to the temple, my friends, because he is amazing. He said, it's coming and it's already here.
It's already, yeah.
AI.
Yeah. So Air AI is good, but for the trade specifically, there's like 3 big players. There's one that's called ZyraTalk. ZyraTalk integrates with your Service Titan, and basically that's one of the CRMs for most of the big home service businesses, but it integrates with other ones. It answers the call, answers questions, can book it right into your CRM for you. Same Day AI is another one, does a similar thing, but they're actually turning AI sales agents. So they're going to be doing your rehashing on your estimates. They're going to be, calling your spring and fall inspections, blah, 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 that kind of stuff. And then the Jobber, I'm pretty big into Jobber with Dave too. Basically, Jobber has their own AI answering service that will answer questions and book stuff right onto your calendar, all inside of their platform. So it's already pretty much here. It's just about people using it is what it comes down to.
And I mean, it sounds good. It doesn't frustrate you. I mean, I still think about like decision trees, that kind of former AI.
I would say that the cool thing, so Same Day AI, I interviewed him on my podcast, Aaron, he's the founder. He said that his AI has a booking rate of around 90%. And that's like in the plumbing industry and other industries, like 90% of a booking rate.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Well, we have Uzi on. Uzi's come on our pod and talked about AI and answering phones for the HVAC overnight. And then he sent me an example of one where I couldn't tell. It was really good, and they had a.
I remember him saying that, and I just couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
But then he told he's the one who told the story about his AI actually refunded a customer when that wasn't part of the program because it just made sense.
Yeah,
The customer
it wasn't
argued
even
it.
part of the decision.
Yeah,
tree. He goes,
the
"Well,
customer
if I
had
give you a
enough
discount."
logic. We're like, okay, I'll give you your money back.
Yeah.
Yeah. We some ways that you can use AI and then kind of pick up the CSR side. So this is some of the things that we implement for clients. So like when someone fills out a form on your website, there's a study that says that 44% of website forms never even get responded to. But basically, when a web form happens,
What was that number?
44%.
I heard that. Oh my Lord!
So
I'm gonna kick somebody's ass tomorrow.
So is that 44% did you write down, or kicking somebody's ass that you wrote down?
44% KOA. 44% KOA.
basically what you want to do is when someone fills out a web form, you want to send them a text message and an email right away. That way you acknowledge. And the text message is most important because it gets a 95% open rate. So when you call them and they don't answer, now you have a text message communication. And another very important thing is with the text, you want to send a follow-up text that says, hey, if you have any additional pictures or information, text them over to us. This allows to start the conversation and send you a text right away. Then when you call them, they don't answer, you can put them into an automation sequence that will text and email them and nurture the leads through the funnel. So that's the basic setup. And then AI doesn't have to be responding to the customer. It's just an AI automation that's running them through this nurture sequence.
And so you actually provide that as well, or do you
Yeah.
refer that out? Okay.
No, we build that inside of
You build that. And so you
Yeah,
can customize it to whatever company.
exactly. It's fully customizable and we build it in their CRM. So if they use Jobber, Service Titan, House Call Pro, we're basically running stuff in their CRM and outside of it to automate that conversion process.
So are those the 3 CRMs you work with right now?
Work is House Call Pro, Jobber, Service Titan. That's like the most of the ones that home service companies are going to work with.
So, well, I guess I'm not most. I'm on Field Pulse.
You're an outlier.
Field Pulse. Okay.
So,
Yeah.
and I'm going to meet them next week.
Okay. So yeah, we don't work with any clients that use Field Pulse, but I'm sure if they have an API integration, it all will work.
Like you're a leper.
I just moved to them.
You know,
I'm all right. Here's
you thought maybe Phil can help me get my exit,
that's
and
that's
he won't even
I
work
thought.
with you
Well,
because
you
you
know what?
work with Field Post.
Well, you know what? He's going to work. They got an open API. They're good people. You tell me what to
Yeah.
do. Let's go rock this shit. Yeah, I'm actually meeting with the CEO next week. In fact, I'm going to let him know that I don't know if he knows this, but I'm kind of a big deal. But Service Titan, I mean, they're getting ready to go public. That's obviously the big dog you got to play with, especially when you're doing your work. House Call Pro, I looked at them. Wasn't the best fit for me. Now I was coming out of the dark ages. I was with a company that hadn't done a lot for me, and I've been with them for 9 years. And I really didn't want to have to change, but I really felt like I needed to. I looked at WorkIs. I liked them. I kept calling them WorkEase, by the way.
Yeah. Either one, work is.
Oh, okay, thank God. I thought maybe they hated me, but I just felt like a little bit too more locksmith for me, like duct cleaning, locksmiths. That looked good. My handyman and remodeling company is kind of a hybrid. It's really well, let's just get to it. It's a really fucking hard business.
Yeah.
But I figured it out. And we scaled. And then so I'm going actually out to Dallas to see the other company that's as big as us.
Nice.
That's why I'm going out there. And to move Austin to Waco to go back to Dallas.
Yeah. The
So,
the big thing with the CRM, so when I was in at the duck cleaning company, was we were working with this digital marketing company, and I would ask them like, well, is this actually working with our Google ads or whatever? And they're like, well, you need to look in your CRM. And I'm like, well, you need to look in our CRM. We're paying you to do our marketing stuff. Like you need to figure that out. And so that's a big part of what we do is tying everything from a digital perspective into your CRM reporting and data, and then making decisions based off real data. And that's why we tie so hard into CRMs and we're big about CRMs.
wow. This is killing me. All right, I love it. This is data's powerful. This is what's I mean, this is the part somebody asked me one of the questions I did get asked from a small handyman guy was do I really need to invest in the CRM thing? I'm like, yeah, you really do. I said they especially the one man shops, they'll give you something. There's a couple of good ones out there. Marquette looks pretty good. I can't vouch for them, but just you got to have it though. You
Yeah,
got to have it for
definitely.
that. And I had one from day one, and I did not. I mean, and that has been very powerful for me.
Yeah. I mean, if it's a couple $100 a month and it helps you run your business, it, yeah, it's
It's
great.
so worth it. Yeah, look, 'cause you just hit on a couple things. And one of the things we'll talk about in sales, your priority is not their priority. Especially, let's face it, duct cleaning is not a necessary.
That's
You
right.
don't have to. And not that. And so here's what I learned last week from Victor Antonio, victorantonio.com. So if your close rate is 40%, I'm going to get Victor on. I'm going to make him listen to this
You're
sucker.
just about becoming Ricky Bobby.
Ricky Bobby. So 40%, if you close 40%, 60% said no, right?
Exactly.
A study in 2022 by Tether using a ton of interactions. I can't even quote the number and attributes. Of those 40%, only 20% went to your competitors. The other 40 of the 40 decided not to do anything
Exactly.
because it's especially when you're a
Because why?
because of indecision and uncertainty.
Because you didn't make a compelling enough case.
You didn't make it a compelling enough case. You did not bring them down and make them understand what you can do for them and why it's so important to them today. And in my world as a handyman, hey, I want to put these doors in my office. Okay. Back our COVID doors that we talked about back 4 years ago, I put a lot of COVID doors in because people started working from home and they had to put the doors in. But what we told them was, do you want your kids flying in to the room? Do you guys remember that YouTube video where the
Right.
kid
Mhm.
comes flying in? We used to use that as a joke. I can't tell you how many French doors I ended up putting in.
Really? I never heard that.
Yeah. So we call them COVID doors. So we did a lot of COVID doors, and then whoops, hang on, Phil, I'm still here. I just hit something I shouldn't have hit. I'm back. So the other thing you talk about is uncertainty. You've got to be able to get your sales team ready to make it happen right there on the spot. And if you can't do it on the spot, at least bring them up to make that decision when they're ready to.
That's right. And I would say another big one, even for your business, like let's say you go out to do some handyman work, but then someone's like, yeah, I'm thinking about doing this kitchen remodel, this bathroom remodel. Now you need to turn your technicians that are out there into actual salespeople. So we had a company that was in HVAC. They turned their technicians into estimate creators. And then we set up an automation sequence. So every single estimate or opportunity that they created on the job site, then we ran them into an estimate nurture sequence to help them convert more leads. So a lot of times you get these people in place, like you go out for a handyman job to replace a toilet, but you don't see that this is an outdated bathroom and you're like, hey, have you thought about replacing this? Actually, we have, I haven't really got any quotes. Okay, well, do you mind if I send someone out here to take a look at it from my company? Now you're turning that $200, $300 job into a $20,000 job, all just by incentivizing the technician to pass leads back and forth for your bigger ticket items.
So that seems really obvious to me as a sales guy, back to our enterprise days. But Chris has talked about for over 3 years that his lone wolves are artisans and they're not salespeople. And he can't, he struggles getting them to get over that hump.
Okay, so a lot of them know about annuities and residual income potentially. Like, hey, do you want to get paid when you're not working and you're sleeping? That's usually this is how I go about it. Do you want to get paid while you're sleeping? Yes. Here's a way to get paid while you sleep. Every single lead that you pass over to the sales team, you're going to get a residual income for work that you didn't have to do. All you have to do is just send me the lead. We're going to pay you 2% of any job that sells that you originate.
Genius.
You could be sleeping and you're going to get paid. That's how you.
Dude, I am quiet right now because I'm writing that shit down. Because I will agree. What's hard is my technicians, my artisans in the field, and they truly are artisans. They think sales is a bad word. They think if they tell you to do something else, it's kind of like, well, it's up to you. But they're writing the check for the customer, and that's one of the things I train the guys on: is don't write the check for the customer. I had a guy where we fixed a door and he thought we were going to have to plane it down and redo it all. And we have a technique in the handyman world of being, and if you should know this, if you put doors in, you know how to line up a door better by just putting in longer screws. It's actually a pretty easy thing, or you can shim out shim out your jam or do whatever you're gonna do. We did it. He was done an hour, and the guy goes, I can't pay you. He goes, well, why can't you pay me? And he said, well, your guy told me that he said it wasn't really worth it for what he did. I said, no, man, you owe me $80 because that was an hour of my guy's time. I said, well, it's 15 minutes, but it's the training that I put my guys through.
Yeah.
He goes, and actually the guy understood and he said, yeah, I'll pay you guys. I said, because that's how I pay my guys. He gets a percentage of what he just sold you. He goes, oh, okay, I'll pay him. I'm like, all right. So, because it was a buddy of mine. Because he called me, and my technician told him, I can't.
Your buddy was going to say, I'm not paying for that hour the guy was
He
saying.
was joking with me.
He was joking.
No, he was being
You need
a
new
total joke.
buddies.
I do need friends.
Yeah. Another good way, like the scorecards at Enterprise, where everyone's up there ranked based off of their stats, is like, okay, we're going to start ranking people off how many leads they generate when they're out on jobs. Maybe they're
Right.
motivated by, being praised in public, or everyone's up here, the number of leads. Wow, this guy's really crushing it. It's not just about money. Another really good one that we did at Enterprise, we had this thing called 5 and Fly. If you sell 5 full boats on a day, you get to go home early. Full boats is like full coverage.
Yeah.
So if you sell 5 full boats, you get to go home early. It's
I
called
knew
5 and Fly.
exactly what that was.
Yeah.
5 and Fly. That is nice.
Yeah. So imagine if you submit
5 and Fly. That's awesome.
If you submit 5 leads, you get a free day off, or you get to leave Friday early. Now it's
That's
not
outstanding. Are you writing that down? Or
I got it down. 5 and Fly.
Yeah,
I'm not.
okay.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
I'm doing that 5 and Fly. Look at
Okay,
it.
all right.
It's little print though. Can you see?
Yeah.
Because a lot of people might not be motivated by money, or they think it's a sticky thing, but they might be motivated by getting Fridays off or whatever,
Yes.
a soccer game or who knows what.
That's genius.
Phil, man, you're onto something. I love this stuff. Helping a lot of home service companies. So tell us a little bit more about which companies you're working with.
Yeah, so our bread and butter is 1 to 10 million home service business owners. And the reason that we're really good there is because a lot of times they can't hire a full-on marketing CMO or something. And they also need the support that a traditional digital agency is not able to provide. Like they need someone to pull the reports, build the automation, strategize, learn about their business. So we kind of fill that gap that most people are feeling. And so that's the companies that we work with. Yeah, HVAC, plumbing, electrical, gutter cleaning, air duct cleaning, custom closets, lawn care, bunch of different types of companies.
And I see you have your own bobblehead, right?
Yeah, so funny story about this. We do customer appreciation gifts and we send out bobbleheads to our customers as an appreciation gift when they work with us. But all of our team has them as well. It's pretty fun.
So I have my own bobblehead too, Alan.
Is it a Lalomia bobblehead?
It is, yeah.
Why
Actually,
don't I have one of those?
one of my guys made a
Smacking
bobblehead.
around.
No, I'm not. You know what? You're not even coming near my bobblehead now. You will not be touching my bobblehead, sir. Oh my gosh, that's horrible, Alan. All right, guys, this has been awesome. I mean, Phil is full of it, and Phil is filled it up. Phil,
Are you making pH jokes?
I'm trying to.
Oh. I knew you thought it was Phlash.
Did I? I'm like, if this dude's going to come on and start talking about extending lashes, we got the wrong podcast, dude. No, it's Phlash Consulting. That's PH Lash Consulting. Go look him up. Phil's got a dynamite business going on, man. If you didn't learn something, that's on you. Phil, how can everybody find you? Come out and talk to you.
Yeah, we do these free marketing audits. We'll get on a call, audit all your stuff, give you some strategies, give the recipe, sell the cooking kind of thing, like we were talking about before. You can go to flashconsulting.com, PHLASH consulting, set up a free meeting there and go from there.
And so that is not for lash extensions, which I was looking for.
So the guy that fired me that said go out and do this stuff, he named the company Phlash. He said it needs to be called Phlash Consulting, Phil with the PH, like PH. And then my wife's name is Ashley, but I call her Ash. So he's like, you could be Phlash Consulting.
So that's where it came from?
So you're fired, but I'm going to give you this gift.
And 2 referrals, and I'm your first customer.
Do you still work with him?
Yeah. So cool story. He went from 3 to 6 million and then sold to private equity and made a ton of money. And I still work with the company to this day.
Nice. Well done, man. That's awesome. All right, guys, go out and check out Phlash Consulting. But I think we got to go for the 4 questions. All right, number 1, what is the favorite book that you would recommend to everybody? Because you got 4 sitting up there. So what's your favorite one?
Yeah. I mean, Home Service Millionaire, Tommy Mello is always great book. Building a story brand is really good for people that don't really know how to articulate what they do to the customer. It's really hard for the trades because they think they're the hero, but they're not. So building a story brand is really good.
Donald Miller,
He
Building a
just
Story
dropped
Brand.
bomb right there. Go
That
ahead.
is big.
Yep.
Nice. All right. Shall we continue?
Mm-hmm.
All right. What's the favorite feature of your home? Because I'm in home services and I love this stuff. I love working in homes. What's the favorite feature of your home?
Yeah, we have a really nice kitchen that we redid when we moved in. So definitely the kitchen. It's like an open floor plan. It's nice.
All right. What's your favorite feature in that kitchen? 'Cause I'll get ready to do mine.
Yeah, we have a really nice island and then an extended island that overlooks like where you eat and stuff. So it's just like very open concept, but it feels nice.
Do you have a pot filler?
No, we don't. No.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think I'm going to do it.
I think that's when you've arrived, is you have a pot filler.
Really? You got to
Mhm.
have one?
You're an Italian. You should have a pot filler.
All right. I'll get a pot filler.
It is pretty cool. Like, I think it's cool. If I were to do it again, I'd probably add one.
I do a lot of cast iron frying though, and man, that shit goes everywhere. I gotta figure out. If somebody can invent like a cast iron fryer
AI
catcher
self-cleaning.
that doesn't. Yeah, oh
Yeah.
my god. All right, so that's awesome. All right, Phil. One of the things we got a big question for you because you guys have this enterprise background, but one of the things Al and I talk about a lot is that we are customer service
Freaks.
Absolutely, we love this stuff. We talked about it earlier. What is a customer service pet peeve of yours when you're out there and you're the customer?
Yeah, so when I was in the trades, it was literally, support at emails. And I'm like, we will never have a support at email ever in my company that people email because you need to have a real person that you're actually working with. So that was my big pet peeve.
A real name instead of support. I like that
Whoa.
one.
All right, so I send out
I'm
all
gonna
my
get a little golf
emails.
clap for Phil.
Look, we have effects in our podcast. God, we've arrived. We're 5% top. Hey, we're gonna make whatever. But anyway, so Cindy at the Trusted Toolbox is where you get your emails from now. But I've always been admin at the Trusted Toolbox because one of the things I didn't know is, especially in the beginning when I first started, I didn't know how long they were going to be with me.
Yeah.
So I just
And the fact is it doesn't matter.
I know I should have just named
have
everybody
Cindy.
Roxanne.
Yeah, Roxanne.
That should have been a Roxanne
Whatever
the whole
name makes you want it.
Roxanne.
Not Sam.
Exactly.
Whatever.
No,
So
what?
it can't be
Oh.
Roxanne.
Okay. All right. Last thing. Give us a DIY nightmare story. We love fire, flooding. Maybe a little. Not dismemberment, but maybe you just lost a finger or
Just
two.
some emergency services or
one or
something.
three. Yeah.
Like me DIYing stuff.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Not a
Oh
contractor
God.
story.
Okay, COVID, I actually built this desk, and if you're on YouTube, you can see how the desk holds up. It's not very good.
Oh, he is rocking.
It
and
is
rolling.
wiggling a
It
little
does
bit.
look like
Yeah.
he's out in California. He's
And
in
I still
Arizona.
keep it just to remind myself that I tried to build this. It looks atrocious. Like it looks terrible. Like
That's
I run
awesome.
I run an agency with a bunch of people. Like I should be getting a new desk, but I
Keeps you
still-
humble. I love that.
Exactly.
Phil, that is exactly what you do. You keep that thing forever, and then you give it to your kids, and you say, "Look, Daddy built this."
That's
And
what I'm doing.
oh, I love it. Oh my God. Phil, you've been dynamite. Thank you for reaching out to us. Thank you to my enterprise brothers for sharing some enterprise green knowledge. You guys rock. Hey, everybody, go out there, make it a great day. We got to go keep going because I don't want to time date ourselves, but
It's
in a
really
slow period.
freaking cold out.
All right, it's really freaking cold out. This is my slow period. Let's get the shit moving, and we got to go take care of people because we got a great 2025 happening. Let's make it happen. We got to
Cheers, everybody.